Hey everybody, welcome back to another DVD and Blu-ray update. As you guys may know, here in the United States, we are celebrating Thanksgiving. Today I want to thank you guys for the years of support and love and fun conversations we've had over, 10 years now. And it's been amazing. It's been over 10 years actually. It's been 11 years. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, 2009 is when I started. But, every November, every July, I believe, Criterion and Barnes& and Noble have a sale for all their Criterions are 50% off. Now, this right here represents a, a good chunk of that. But this is actually some of the stuff I got last year. Over the two sales, and then I think I had picked up a couple of titles. Sometimes Criterion has a flash sale, and of course this year, I also picked up some stuff. But I haven't done a Criterion update in forever, so this I thought would be a great opportunity for the holidays, for Criterion lovers, for boutique DVD and Blu-ray collectors out there. The Criterion Collection. Now, let's just get started with it, man. I mean, I have 3 stacked. I think it's like 40 titles. I didn't really count. So, I'm just going to go through them. One by one. I haven't seen all these films, but I have seen a good chunk. So I will talk about some of them as I'm showing them to you. Okay. The first thing we have is Mulholland Drive from David Lynch. It's one of my favorite David Lynch films. So this is a beautiful collection. I never thought we were going to get this on Blu-ray, let alone Criterion. It's a nice little upgrade from the DVD version, which I still have. I think I might have already sold it off. That was one of the worst DVDs I've ever had in my entire life. There were no chapters. So if you're watching the movie and you stop the movie halfway, usually you can go back, pick it up, and it starts where it leaves off. Not this one. This one, you would have to start the entire film all over again. And wow, that was really bad. And then when you wanted to skip to a chapter that more or less where you were at, you couldn't. It was all one chapter. And that was really, really weird. I've never seen another DVD or Blu-ray do that. So that was really weird. So, I would have rather have had a VHS version of that, to be honest. But yeah, I mean that. Anyway, Criterion. I really love this digibook set. Or I don't know what they're called, digibook or not digibook, because I love digibooks are different. Digipack. It's a digipack. So it's a beautiful, beautiful pack. It has a beautiful artwork inside. Of course, it has a little booklet and it has the disc right in the middle. It's such a great addition. I'm really, really happy to get this one. Like I said, I remember watching it a long time ago on DVD, and it was just really weird the way that one worked out. But anyway, let's move on. Next thing is actually Paul Dano's, I want to say it's his first film that he ever directed, so his directorial debut. That's a word I've always have a hard time saying. Wildlife. It has Carey Mulligan and Jake Gyllenhaal. I've never heard of this film until I saw a trailer to this after knowing that it came out on Criterion. Now, the trailer looked super intriguing. Paul Dano is one of my favorite actors. He's incredible. From Prisoners, Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, Ruby Sparks. I really love Paul Dano. I'm looking forward to seeing his directorial debut here. Sorry, the mic's in the way. But I'm really looking forward to this one. Next one, David Cronenberg classic, Scanners. that artwork alone is incredible. Like that is amazing. Uh, it's such an awesome set, and I love this. I mean, if you know the scene this is referring to, it's iconic. Um, but this is such a mind trip. I remember watching it as a kid. As a kid, I shouldn't have been watching it, but I remember watching it as a kid, and just it leaving this crazy impression on me. I was like, "What in the world did I just watch?" And that was really incredible. So I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So as some of you might know, if you go back to some of my old videos where I had talked about Matthew Broderick, I am not the biggest fan of Matthew Broderick, but I really like Election. So Election is uh, a great film by Alexander Payne. He and Reese Witherspoon are really funny in this movie. I mean, it's one of those screw not. It's one of those high school movies that you just kind of thought it was like a throwaway, but it's so good. And added bonus for me, since I'm not a big fan of Matthew Broderick, he has a really bad time in this movie. So so it was kind of cool to watch that. But yeah, I mean that's another great movie. I love Election. Another one I just picked up. I had never seen this. Inside Llewyn Davis. I always wanted to see it. I've always wanted to check this one out, but it was like one of those movies that just kind of got away from me, and then I just never went back to looking at it. And I love Oscar Isaacs, and I love the Coen brothers, so that should be a good one. One that everyone was talking about last year, and rightfully so, is Parasite. Now, I love this. If you saw my most anticipated films coming out the end of all 2020, Blu-ray and DVD, this was on the list. Parasite. This is a beautiful case. Like that slip. Oh, it's a little okay. There we go. That slip cover just kind of highlights some really cool moments in the image, and so I really love this. I know that Bong Joon-ho or Ho is having more of his films gonna be put on Criterion, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of his work. Uh, this is the only film I've ever seen from him. I know he has a couple of other ones. I know The Host, I believe he had directed previously. That's a movie I never got to see, but I always wanted to. So hopefully that also gets some kind of release, or if not, I'd like to just pick that up in general. Another one, I know after Twilight, yes, we're talking about Twilight, and Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson really get a bad rap, like big time. But they're good actors, man. I've seen them both do very well, and one of the movies I remember seeing trailers for before, but I never actually got to check it out, was Personal Shopper, and this looks really intriguing. It looks like it's gonna be really good. Like it's like a horror thriller type of film. I like those, and I really do like Kristen Stewart. So hopefully that's a good one to watch. I have a couple of one. Oh, you know what? Let me switch these out really quick before I do those. Okay, so I have Sid and Nancy. This is an upgrade for me from the DVD version I had. I had I didn't have the Criterion or anything, but it was the isn't that awesome? Yeah, I mean, the Sex Pistols. This is one of those movies that is so crazy that it just seems like a documentary almost. But Sid and Nancy, it's one of those movies that I remember watching very young, and I was like, whoa, like Is that what fame can do to a person? And it's very tragic, and in a way, uh, this kind of foreshadowed a little bit of what happened after, with especially with like Nirvana, and Courtney Love. And Courtney Love was supposed to be playing Nancy in this movie, but she didn't get the role. But that was such a crazy movie, man. I mean, that's a movie that to me is just kind of like, oh, whoa. It never made me want to. It didn't. I did not envy being famous, so I'm content with, YouTube fame, which I don't even have that. But moving on to the next couple titles. City Lights. Now, Charlie Chaplin. I remember I had seen this film. I'm not 100% which one this one is, because I have seen many Charlie Chaplin films in school and just in general, but this is such a nice beautiful set, and I'm really I haven't seen any of the golden age of a film like from the 30s in a nice restoration, other than maybe Dracula and Frankenstein. Those are pretty nice, but I know Criterion took a lot of time and care with a lot of these titles, so I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of these Charlie Chaplin films, which I have a couple other ones, and we'll get to the other one in a little bit. But another one I got was the Modern Times. This is the one, I don't think I have seen this one actually. So this one, once again, it's another one that I'm really looking forward to, and I want to immerse myself more and more into Charles Manson. Whoa, no, if you didn't catch that, I almost said Charles Manson. Different person entirely. I wanted to say Charles Chaplin, but wow, where was my mind going on this family holiday? Wow. Okay, sorry for the slip. That was weird. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna just move on. The other one I got was Godzilla. Now, my old roommate, when I used to live in Albuquerque, got this one, and I just thought it was so freaking cool. I remember I could have sworn it was out of print, but or maybe it was, and I'm not really sure. But I freaking love this, right? So this is such a cool thing. He's like underwater. This is so cool. Inside, you have a little booklet, Godzilla. On the other side, I believe it says Gojira. And of course, it has a little pop out. But I had to show that amazing thing. That is super amazing. I love this thing. This is detail right here. This is what I love about Criterion and just packaging in general. Now, I had gotten away from physical media for a little bit. Not like crazy, but I was very picky with what I was picking up. This was one that I always had on my mind, always had on the one I was like, I need to get this movie, and especially the Criterion version. I didn't even know about that little pop-up thing, which is a really nice surprise when you open it up. It's like, poop. That was pretty cool. Another David Lynch classic, Blue Velvet. Alone, the packaging is beautiful. It's such it looks velvety. Look at how beautiful this is, and of course, well, the back has, of course, all the information that you would want to get. If you want to read that, you can pause that right there. Pause right there. But I remember watching this as a kid. I had no business watching this as a kid because of how crazy and disturbing this movie is. Now, I can kind of show that, but maybe that's not a good idea. I would like to show you what's on here, but okay, all right, it's fine. It should be fine. It's nothing bad, but it's De- yeah. Dennis Hopper is insane in this movie. All I remember, well, because I remember watching the trailers for Tenet, and David Washington has a little mask. Not, and the only thing I could like think of when seeing that was Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet with the mask. I'm like, oh God, this is crazy. So yeah, that was insane. A film that should be on everyone's list of movies they must see before they die. Everyone. It's probably in the top 10. Oh, The Seventh Seal. I've seen countless memes, not memes, but uh, tributes and satire parodies of this film. Even in one of my favorite 500 Days of Summer, which I really would love to see that on Criterion. I don't know if that would ever happen, but I would love to see that one on Criterion. But anyway, Ingmar Bergman directed this. It's one of those classic films that everyone. It's when you think of cinema, you think of parts of this movie, and this movie is just, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I've never seen it, and I'm a little bit ashamed of that. But yeah, this is one of those movies that that you watch, and I'm sure that I'm just gonna be blown away by everything they were doing back in the 50s, and near the 60s. One of my favorite performances in a movie is from Sidney Poitier in A Raisin of the Sun. This is such a great film. This is just, it's a play, I believe, and they brought it out. Yeah, that's right. It's a play, and they made it, they wrote it out for the screen, and it's so good, man. I just recently watched this one again because it's one of my favorite performances in any movie, and it all takes place in one room. And it goes to show how little you need to tell a great story, because you don't need these big budgets, you don't need big, fancy effects. You don't need that. If you have a great story, you can make a movie with one set and some actors, and just know how to tell a story. That's really what this is all about. So that's one of my favorite films just to watch as a study in acting. This is an amazing film. One of my favorite documentaries, and I remember having to watch this in school maybe two or three different times. It was like this, Schindler's List, Stand and Deliver. Those movies were on repeat, rewind. It's Hoop Dreams, and this movie is actually, it's a little sad because you're watching these kids, man, and they're growing up. I want to say it's in Chicago. Yeah, in Chicago, and they're so talented, and yet some of those kids get lucky, some of them don't, and that's a great documentary. I love documentaries, but this is one of those documentaries that's so good. I highly, highly recommend Hoop Dreams for anybody who is a hardcore movie lover, anyone who loves documentaries, anyone who loves sports, anyone. This is such a great story. This is a great one. So, highly recommended. The last from this particular stack is a movie I've actually never seen. It's another David Lynch film, which I have a couple. I have a couple other ones. The Elephant Man And I absolutely love this artwork. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Now, man. So, The Elephant Man, I know that it's a new 4K restoration. Um, in a way, I kind of wish Criterion would do 4K, but I'm okay with them not doing 4K. We have the booklet, really nice, and of course the disc, a really cool disc. I really don't know what we're looking at there, but really beautiful packaging. A lot of attention to detail. It's so good. So I'm really looking forward to that. That is Sir Anthony Hopkins there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that film, and hopefully I'll get to see that soon. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, as you can see, I had to kind of rearrange a couple things right here, because it was probably gonna be tough for me to pick from the middle, so I just kind of scooted over everything. But the next thing we got, the Grand Budapest Hotel. Oh, I'm showing you the back of it. There we go. There you go. That's actually really cool artwork. I really love that. Wes Anderson does it again. Really cool packaging. I think he probably gets the best packaging for all of his films sometimes. Like The Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's another one that I love. But yeah, I mean, I have actually, I have to, I have to admit something. I did not watch this film when it came out. So, and I haven't watched it yet. So it seems like a good one to watch over the holidays. So definitely that's I love Wes Anderson, so I'm looking forward to watching some of his films. The next one I have here, it's one of my favorite Sofia Coppola films. This is, I think, her first film. Yes, it's her feature directorial debut. Okay, so we're talking about Sofia Coppola's The Virgin Suicides. I saw this a long time ago on DVD. In fact, I still have it on DVD. This is one of those, when I found out it was coming to Criterion, it was one of those movies I said I had to get right away. Really cool. This is such a good movie. This is such a weird movie. It's crazy, and I think it's perfect. So I'm really, I would love to see more of Sophia's work on the Criterion. Of course, Lost in Translation would be great. But that would be something really cool. I would love to see that. But on to the next one. I think this came out over the summer, and I remember it was right like the week before the Barnes and Noble sale went on. It was the Marriage Story came out, and everyone was talking about this. I remember me and my fiance we watched this. Uh, it was intense. We watched it on Netflix. It was intense. We were kind of like, whoa. Are we together for the right reasons? Of course we are. But it's such a real movie. It's borderline documentary almost. It's avant-garde. Ugh. I hate using that word because it sounds so pretentious, which it is pretentious. Which I wanted to just illustrate. I'm talking about the Criterion Collection today, but to not come off so pretentious, I'm wearing this shirt. Just to kind of counterbalance things a little bit. But anyway, Marriage Story is just kind of too real in a lot of ways, and it's very uncomfortable to watch sometimes. So that's a film that I would love to rewatch, and I would love to see the special features on that. because that just and I want to say it picked up a couple of awards during the Oscars, so it well deserved. The next one I have here is Insomnia. No, not the Christopher Nolan film, but this is actually the. Oh, if I try to say that word or name, I'm just gonna butcher it. So I'm not even gonna try. But I'll just let you read it though. If it will focus, there we go. I don't know how to say that, but I hear so many great things about this film that and I really love Insomnia when I first saw it, the Christopher Nolan version. And I know that it's basically a direct uh remake of that. So I'm excited to see this. I want to say it's that. If it's not, then I'm super confused right now because if it's not a remake of if Insomnia is not a remake of this film, then I don't know what to expect from this film. But I hear good things either way. I'm pretty sure it's the same, but I'm not 100%. Now, speaking of remakes, Funny Games. I actually never got to see the American version, but I never got to see this one either. But this is the original German version, and it looks intense. It looks really intense. I've seen clips of it, and it's one of those movies that gets put in with the most disturbing films. Um, I don't know if that's gonna be the case for me. I don't believe it, but we'll see, I guess. But that's one I would love. I can't wait to check that one out. A film or films I always hear about, my friend talk about, is Police Story with Jackie Chan. I love this case. This is such a really cool case. It's not your typical one. This is actually, it comes out from both sides, but it's really cool from Police Story there and part 2 right there. It's really cool. And Jackie Chan and in his prime, I believe this is before he came to the United States. So, this is what Jackie Chan was doing. And I'm excited. I'm excited because this looks really good. I can't wait to see those movies. One of my favorite directors of all time is Martin Scorsese. As you can see, I have Casino there. I also have The Departed and Goodfellas posters up that you can't see from this vantage point. But I got Scorsese shorts. I had actually seen some of these films before. I saw part of Italian American, and I saw the entire thing of The Big Shave, which is only 5 minutes long. But there's all these other films that I can't wait to see. They're little short films, and Scorsese, like I can't wait to see this because I want to say that there are films in here where he uses like techniques that he later on uses in his other films, like in Raging Bull. And there's a really good behind the scenes I already watched with the Sadafi brothers and Ari Aster. It's like 20 something minutes. It's them just talking about each little short film. It was really good. So I can't wait to see all of them because there's some I've seen clips of most of the films. I haven't seen all of it. So I can't wait to see it. A film I remember as a kid, which I don't know why I saw this as a kid. I saw parts of it. I didn't actually see the whole thing. Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Now, if there's a movie that wants to date if there's a title that ever wanted to date the movie title, that Videotape, nobody uses that word anymore. Although sometimes they do, like, oh, I videotaped it, but they're, using their cameras or cell phones and there's no tape involved, which, okay, But I love the packaging. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. Look at the lines. It looks like it's on a television, and I I'm a sucker for that big time. Um, and it's Steven Soderbergh. He's he's a hit or miss for me. I have some of his other work on Criterion, but this is gonna be the first time I get to watch the entire thing because this is a film that I never got to watch all the way through. Now, there's a couple of other movies that remind me of a film. Like, it's very voyeuristic, and there's another film coming out on Criterion next month, Crash, and not the Paul Haggis film. I hate that version of, not version, that movie Crash. Won Best Picture. Film is subjective, but geez, man, wow, I don't like that movie at all, and I don't, I don't know. Anyway, Crash, David Cronenberg, Crash from like 1996. That's coming out next week, or I'm sorry, next month, and that one I remember seeing that as a kid. Now, see, I watched a lot of weird independent films as a kid, and I don't. I think that might have been like, you know what? I'll save that for another topic. I will address what I just was about to say in another video, so we won't get into that right now. But that's also, to me, it seems very voyeuristic because they're watching people like in their most private moments, and this is kind of that as well. So I kind of like that. Another one, Michael Mann directed this, Thief, with James Caan. I actually haven't seen this yet, but I am. This to me looks like it's right up my alley. I love James Caan. I love Michael Mann, of course, as you can tell. Right there we go. Heat, one of my favorite films, and I really love the way this looks. It's very 80s. The packaging, the art font, the font on the art, Thief. It's very 80s to me. It's what kind of why I can't wait to watch it. This is a film I had to watch a lot in high school because we read the book or the short story, Lord of the Flies, and I remember we watched the film, and it's really good. I remember a lot of kids just like falling asleep during, because like they don't like movies in black and white. They don't like movies that are older than them. So, but I loved it, and I remember watching it. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. It's something that you always think about, like as a kid, like, oh man, I wish we could like live on a, abandoned, island, and we would like, we'd be cool. And no, you wouldn't. No, you would like form gangs, and you would. It's human nature at its very beginning. I love it. It's so good. I love it. I can't wait to rewatch that again. A film. So some of these I just picked up today, actually. These are films I've not seen, so I don't know much about them. But everyone has been talking about this one a lot. It's Come and See. I want to say this one just was released recently from Criterion. And I was flipping through the little booklet. There aren't any pictures in it, which makes me think that I don't know what I'm in for. I don't know what is in store for me when I watch this. So I'm kind of excited, and I'm kind of I don't know what to think. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. I love it. Another one. I remember watching some of the Criterion picks from the closet with Ethan Hawke. He mentioned Paris, Texas, of course. Sam Shepard wrote this, which is what? Sham's okay. And Harry Dean Stanton, which passed away a couple of years ago, I believe now. And it looks intriguing. I am from Texas as well, so I'm interested in seeing what that looks like. That looks like it could be really good. Another one, I was going through, kind of going through the this is a total blind buy for me. But when I saw who directed this, so I was looking at all of the Blu-rays and all the movies, and this one always stood out to me because I'm like, oh, that I could have sworn this was um, the French film, I'm not even sure which movie I'm thinking of because they recreate a scene in The Dreamers, and I was like, oh, they're running through. I think it's like a train station, and it's black and white, and they're recreating that scene. And so for some, I don't know what reason, I saw this cover and I was like, oh, it's that film. So I grabbed it and I'm looking at it. I'm like, no, this is not that film at all. But Greg Matola? Does anyone realize Greg Matola? I I don't. I mean, if I am right, he directed Superbad, and Paul, too, with Seth Rogen, and so when I saw that this was directed by Greg Matola, I was like, what? One, I've heard of the title. I've never seen the film. So I'm intrigued by this one. I don't know much about it. So I'm excited. It's a blind buy for me. Spine 1001, which is a pretty good spine number to have. So this is one that is infamous because I know about the whole story behind Stanley Kubrick not liking that he was credited on this. And I might be remembering that wrong, but Stanley Kubrick, I mean, this is one of those films that I want to say he either, oh, I'm totally goofing on that. That's Spartacus. Wow. Okay, this is Stanley Kubrick's one of his earlier films, The Path to Glory with Kirk Douglas. I want to say it's about World War One. If I am not wrong, I might be wrong. Yeah, World War One. And I'm really happy to get a film like that because I don't have a lot of World War One films, so it'd be nice to add to the collection. Another film, I was originally gonna get this last year, or it might have not even been out last year. I don't actually know. But one of the films that I've been wanting to see for a while. Yeah, I think this is from, like, I think last year I was gonna get this Rumblefish, and I had never seen this, but it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, which is of course one of my favorite directors as well. He also directed the Godfather trilogy, which I'm also kind of curious about that new Godfather trilogy, like that part 3. That's weird. It's kind of weird because that new trailer doesn't show any Sophia in it, but I have a feeling they're not taking her out of it. So we'll see how that comes out. Another one. So today I picked up Eraserhead. This thing is kind of heavy. It's like stacked. This is such a beautiful edition. A big, huge book. Look at how big that book is. And I've only ever known about it just by name, mostly because of David Lynch, but also because of the hair. The hair is iconic. I've seen this image for years and years and years, and this is the first time I'm gonna be watching it. So hopefully it's a good one. So David Lynch, doesn't always disappoint, but when he hits hard, he hits pretty hard. On to the last stack. Now, I don't know how many titles I've already gone through. Gone through plenty, but here we go. So I picked this one up in the summer. Now, this is the cheapest Criterion I have ever seen. It's a Blu-ray, and blue is the warmest color. This is a film I remember hearing a lot about when it first came out, so I always wanted to watch it, but it was only like $12 or $12.50, which is what? Like, what? What? You know what I mean? So it was weird to have that film. I don't know if that's a typo, but then this new sale came out, and it's also for $12.50. So it's weird. That's the cheapest Criterion, and I don't know why. I want to know if you guys know why that might be, the cheapest Criterion I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know. I remember in film school, or in school when I was in college, many years ago, but I remember having to watch this film over and over and over again. So this film is ingrained in my head, and that is, of course, Midnight Cowboy. This film is so good. It's crazy because I'm watching it, right? And I could have sworn, like, so Dustin Hoffman, he's walking down the street in middle of traffic, and a car almost hits them as they're filming. And this is like candid, like this isn't scripted. He like hits the cab. He's like, I'm walking here. So I'm like, what the? So I'm watching that. I'm like, wait a minute. But I've seen that before. And I Googled this because I was like, no, I need to know. There's so many movies like Forrest Gump. I want to say there's an episode of Friends. There's a bunch of other movies where someone's almost getting hit, and then they're like, I'm walking here. So it created this spontaneous moment. It created one of those amazing moments in cinema where it's iconic, and it wasn't even scripted. It was so real, and I love it. So that was one thing I took away from it. Just remembering that. Another one, I recently rewatched Capote. I forgot how good that movie is. And yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman is incredible. But the one that never gets any credit at all is Clifton Collins Jr. He's so good in that movie, man. Like, and so I knew after watching that, I said I wanted to get in Cold Blood. This one I'm excited to watch for the first time. Now, I'd seen parts of it. It's black and white. But I've seen parts of this movie, especially a very iconic scene where I believe it's Robert Blake, right? That is Robert Blake. Yeah. He's like in jail, and he's kind of like looking out the window, and the guy doesn't shed a tear. He doesn't care, but it's raining outside, and the silhouette of light coming through the bars of the jail cell and the rain coming down create this incredible image of the tears are actually coming from the rain onto his face, and it's beautiful. And I want to say that was actually an accident. I remember seeing something where that wasn't supposed to happen, and it was like an accident, or somebody was moving a light, and it was like the raining, and oh my god, there's chaos outside. If you guys can hear all the ambulances. I don't know what's going on right now. And the stupid dog's going off. Another film that's classic. Now, this is a film that I've always wanted to get, and I never got it. But I'm really happy to get it for the first time. So this is Akira Kurosawa, Seven Samurai. Now, this is such a beautiful edition. Like, this is gorgeous. This is one of the few that actually have any images on the back, because all the other ones don't. But this one I'm actually really excited to watch for the first time. And it's by number 2. So this is one of the first films that they even thought of when they were going to do this Criterion Collection thing. So that's really impressive. So I really would love to see this film. I can't wait to watch it. A film I did not think I was going to be getting, but I love P.T. Anderson, is Punch Drunk Love. And, of course, Adam Sandler. I think this is one of the first times he went off where, okay, well, he's mostly known as a comedian and as a, funny man. Nobody ever took him serious. So this is the first time he does like a very serious film. And it was so good. It was gripping, and it's uncomfortable at times. So it's really good though. It's really good. I love that film. Another one. I want to say this is one of their first films that they directed. Both Joel and Ethan Coen. This Blood Simple. I used to have this in a set where it was the Fargo, this Raising Arizona, and I can't think of the other film. But I when I found out it was gonna be on Criterion, this is one of those first movies I wanted to get. So I definitely picked this one up as soon as I saw it, because this is a good movie. I can't wait to watch that. One of the films that you always hear about, especially if you're in film school or anything like that, it's 12 Angry Men. And as before, when I was talking about A Raisin in the Sun, that all takes place in one room. This also all takes place in one room. It's 12 Angry Men. And so I'm really happy that this was released on Criterion. And I've actually never seen this film, so I can't wait to watch this. This is a true classic. So I have a lot of blind buys, and I have a lot of movies that people have told me that are really good. So I can't wait to dive into some of these films. The next one is actually an upgrade for me, because I used to have this film on DVD, and it was the Criterion version too, which was a really... Back then, the Criterion DVDs didn't look that great, but this one was actually one of the exceptions. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, of course, with it's based off of Hunter S. Thompson's book, and then of course Terry Gilliam, such a weird director. There's a bunch of his movies I want to get, like Brazil and oh man. Not Rumblefish, but The Fisher King. I don't know. Yeah, Fisher King, with Robin Williams. I remember watching that one, and that was really good. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro are so good. Like, especially Johnny Depp in this film. He like really embodies Thomas. Oh, sorry, Hunter S. Thomas. So that's one I'm really glad to upgrade on this set. A film that me and my fiance loved, and we're biased because we really love Alfonso Cuarón, because if you're Mexican and you say Mexican names like that, then yeah, you should be ashamed. But Alfonso Cuarón, of course, he directed Roma, and I love this film. This is such a great film. And when I found out that they were going to release this film, Criterion, I was like, wait, it's a Netflix film. So after this one was released, they did A Marriage Story. I don't know if there's, and then of course The Irishman. Uh, Recording this right now, I was supposed to be getting it in the mail, Irishman, but it hasn't come in yet, and I don't think it's gonna come in the next couple days because it's the holidays. So I'm gonna have to wait, but I'll do a standalone video for that one because I love The Irishman. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Roma. This is so good. And I love all of his work. I have most of his films. The one that I got, actually I got it maybe a couple years ago, was Y Tu Mamá También. That's another good one. So me and my fiance watched this and we both loved it. It was so good. I think she watched it like 3 times. I've seen it twice. Definitely gonna see it again. So I can't wait to rewatch this on Criterion and watch all the special features. There's one more coming out at the end of next month, Amores Perros, which is probably in my top 10 favorite films of all time. It's Alejandro Iñárritu. So people say it wrong in the U.S., but it's Iñárritu because there's a little accent on the I. Iñárritu. Anyway, but I can't wait to see that one on Blu-ray, and because I have the DVD, but having that Criterion's gonna be like, oh man, I can't wait. Okay, we're almost done here, guys. One of the films I remember back in the day when I used to watch IFC a lot when I was a teenager. Maybe when I was like 13, 12. I think that's kind of where I started learning about cinema. But I remember one of the films that popped up, because I want to say IFC actually funded or they produced this film, was Me, You, and Everyone We Know. I never got to see it. So it was always one of those, like, I said I always wanted to get it and I never did. So I'm really excited to have it now, and I can't wait to watch that one because it looks very quirky and very, very real also. So I'm really excited to see what that one's all about. I have a couple more here. Another one that I never got to see, but I remember watching like trailers for it, is The Squid and the Whale. Now this one is directed by Noah Baumbach. Why did I stumble on that? Baumbach. But he also directed Marriage Story. So if it's I love indie films like this about coming of age and just families, and so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna really like that one. A couple more. The other one I remember watching this one a lot is actually The Kid, Charlie Chaplin. This is probably one of my favorite Charlie Chaplin films that I got. I also picked up a couple of years ago. I had picked up the Charlie Chaplin, The Great Dictator. Now, a lot of silent film stars that transitioned to sound didn't all make it, because if any of you guys have ever watched the film Singing in the Rain, you'll know that like some of them had really ugly voices, and they just couldn't act, and it was very jarring. So Charlie Chaplin was one of those few that were made it from one to the other and was successful on both sides. So I love The Kid is probably my favorite Charlie Chaplin film. That one and The Immigrant. I wish they would release The Immigrant. That one's also one of my favorite ones. So we'll see. The other one is such a nostalgic film, yet I've never seen it, yet everyone knows about it. And of course, I'm talking about The Graduate. And everyone knows this scene. Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. And of course, the song Mrs. Robinson, and of course um, in Wayne's World, they parody the scene where he's at the church and he's like, no. And there's more, but I can't even think of it right now. But that film is so iconic, and I've never seen it. I can't believe I've never seen it. So I can't wait to watch that. That's gonna be one of my favorite watches, probably. I'd love to just sit down and check that one out for sure. Okay, I'm last two movies. Two movies that I didn't even watch. So I probably should have not done these last. But House. Wow. I've seen clips of this movie, and it's so okay. This illustrates exactly how bizarre this movie is. You see this yellow streak going around? Those are some of the special effects, if you can call them, in this film. And it's so weird. I've seen clips, just clips of it, and it's so weird. So I can't wait to watch that movie. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Last, this is the first time I'm getting a Tarkovsky film, and I can't wait to watch this because my friend is obsessed with this film, and it's Solaris. Now, it's not the George Clooney garbage, which I've hear. Well, you know what? That's unfair for me to say because I never actually watched the George Clooney film, but I actually really want to watch that. And I know I forgot there's a band that did a whole album, and you sync it with this film, and it's kind of like inspired by it. It's something like that. I gotta ask my friend about it because he loves that movie. But that's it, guys. I mean, I want to say it's over 40 titles. It's like 45 titles or something like that. 46, 47, almost 50. 50 Criterion titles. Now, the only one that I'm really missing right now is The Irishman because that one didn't come in on time. I should have just waited, and when it came out, I should have just gone and I, bought it. But no, I had to just I need to get it now, and everyone else has it but me. So, well, that's great. But anyway, I'll do a separate video for that. Thank you guys for watching this very long video, I'm sure. Of course, click like, subscribe, ring that little bell. I'm not really good at that stuff, man. I'm not good at selling myself. I just love talking movies. So if you enjoy people talk movies, if you enjoy people showing their collections and all that, subscribe. That's what I'm all about. And of course, with that being said, happy holidays. If you guys are celebrating in the US, happy Thanksgiving. I know Christmas is coming up. I can't wait. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So, yeah, it's going to be a great end of 2020, even though it's been a really rough year for a lot of us. So hopefully, as long as we can have a little bit of a shining light at the end of this year, thank you, Lord. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye. And that's a wrap.